Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. Jessica here, and today we're just going to go through some amazing and not so impressive primers, so stay tuned to hear my thoughts.
Arching your back.
Now, I think we all can kind of agree that priming is a very important step in your makeup process. You can definitely determine how your makeup turns out, especially if your primer has some type of color correcting aspect to it. And it's also important for smoothing out your skin and potentially helping your makeup last longer throughout the day. So a little bit about my skin. I happen to have pretty oily skin. I guess you could classify it as combination oily because it is pretty normal around the perimeter of my face, but then in the T-zone, in the very center of my face, especially near my nose, I am very oily and I tend to suffer from large pores because of that as well. So I definitely look for a mattifying aspect in my primers and anything that can help smooth out my skin and fill pores. But for the longest time, I really hated any primers that had a silicone type of feel to them. You know, that's like, I don't even know how to describe it, but it's not a hydrating feel. It feels more like a synthetic material and it just kind of sits on top of your skin. I definitely had to get used to feeling that on my skin, but now I think I can handle it. So I think for this list, I'm going to go from my least favorite to my most favorite at the moment. And we're just going to talk about a few of the products that I've tried and what I would recommend for someone who suffers from similar skin problems as myself. Okay, so the first product I'm going to start out with is this Becca First Light Priming Filter. And this is a full size of that product that I did receive for free in an influencer box. And I've been using this quite a few times. I think I don't necessarily reach for it on the day-to-day, but I do try to incorporate it a few times when I'm doing makeup looks, or, you know, I keep trying to give it a chance, but I don't think it's the best product for my particular skin type. I have noticed that with certain foundations, it can alter the color of my shade and things just don't quite look right when I try it. And on top of that, it doesn't necessarily mattify at all. If anything, it gives you more of an illuminating, dewy finish. And so for that reason, I wouldn't necessarily recommend it for someone who is looking for a matte finish with their primer and with their makeup look after putting that on top of the primer. But one thing I will give it is definitely a hydrating primer. It feels like a moisturizer when you put it on. So if you're into that, then I would recommend it. Next on my list is going to be the LA Girl Pro Prep HD Smoothing Face Primer. And I believe this is a full size of this product as well. And it's a very low price point because, as we all know, LA Girl is very affordable. So that's definitely a plus for this primer. As far as the LA Girl primer goes, this one, I think out of everything I have, has the most silicone type finish or feel to it. So at first I wasn't quite feeling it because of the way it just kind of sits on the skin, but I've gotten used to it, and actually because of that aspect of it, it really fills in the pores and smooths out your layer of skin. As far as mattifying, I don't know that it does that, but it also doesn't claim to do that. It has more of a smoothing aspect to it as it's advertised on the product. So what it says on it is it helps smooth and fill in lines and pores. It's paraben and fragrance free and enriched with vitamin E. So I think if you are someone who suffers with like visible pores, then I would recommend it as long as you can handle that silicone feel. But if you're looking for a mattifying primer, I wouldn't grab this one. Next up is one of the primers that I think I grabbed the most out of my entire collection, and this is the Soap & Glory One Heck of a Blot Instant Perfecting Power Primer with Shine Block 12-Hour Matte Sphere and Pore Shrink Technology. That is definitely a mouthful, but this is what the packaging looks like. And the Soap & Glory primer, I think this one has kind of a lotion feel to it, or a lotion consistency. It's very smooth, and when you put it on, it doesn't necessarily feel like it's drying your skin or anything, but I think it does have a bit of a mattifying feature to it, and I think it does help my makeup last, and, you know, just makes everything give a skin-like finish, not necessarily a matte finish or very flat or perfect mannequin skin. But I think this is great to use for every day. I think for the price point, you do get a lot of product. This is pretty large for the full size of this primer, and I think it's under $20, so that's really good. So I think this is something you should have in your makeup collection if you do have oily skin. As far as filling in pores or dealing with that, I don't know that this would do the job. And if you happen to have dry skin, I might even recommend it for that, because you may have foundations that are a little oily that you want to have a matte primer under, or, you know, this just could work for keeping your makeup intact all day. And I wouldn't think this would dry you out because it has a pretty hydrating consistency. So definitely check this one out. Now for one of my favorite primers that actually is truly mattifying, of course, is going to be the Becca Ever Matte Primer. And the full name is Becca Ever Matte Poreless Priming Perfector. So this primer, Ever Matte, is ever accurate. Like, this thing is no joke. When you put it on, it's like your skin goes and I had to get used to it the first time it happened. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't know that it would be that powerful. So a little bit does go a long way. And I would be careful with this product not to put it immediately on your under eye because it can dry that skin out. And that skin is very delicate, so don't put it there. You most likely aren't getting oily there anyway. So I would definitely keep it around the cheek area near the nose where you're getting oily, possibly the center of the forehead, but I wouldn't take it anywhere that you're not truly oily. So this primer I usually mix in with other primers that aren't as strong as far as mattifying on my face, and I think that works pretty well in my routine. So I am definitely going to go back and buy the full size of this product. This one is the sample size I got from Sephora, or the luxury trial size, whatever they like to call it. So I think I will pick this one up again when I return to the store. And now for my ultimate recommendation, if you do have combination oily skin or suffer from large pores and you just want a nice smooth base for your makeup that's going to last, and please don't laugh at my tiny size, I do recommend the Porefessional from Benefit. Now this is a small teeny tiny sample, but it goes a long way, and I have used this on multiple occasions, so I can with confidence say that this works. Now the reason I think I would grab this over Becca Ever Matte is because it doesn't feel like it's really tightening my skin when I put it on, whereas the Becca Ever Matte, sometimes I feel like I went overboard with it and it just doesn't feel comfortable at first, you know. And for the Benefit Porefessional, it has that nice balance of mattifying and almost feeling hydrating, but the only downside to this primer is that you may end up with a white cast on your face, so you definitely want to make sure that gets covered up when you put on your foundation. If you're wearing something that's more medium to full coverage, then that'll work perfectly, but if you're doing like a BB cream over this, I don't know whether or not this would show up under it, especially if you are a deeper skin tone. You may be able to see that ashiness under. But other than that, I don't know, this minimizes the appearance of pores like it says on the tube. It's very great at mattifying, and you can even try the Matte Rescue one. I haven't tried that yet, but you can give that a try if nothing else works. And you can get smaller sizes of this, I think at a lower price point than Becca Ever Matte, so that's great as well. So I definitely recommend this. Now for honorable mention, because I'm a doofus, and when I was recording this makeup look, I forgot to try this primer out for you guys. I was gonna let you know a first impression on it, but I have swatched it on my hand and it does seem like it would be a great product. So I'll post in the comments an update on what I think of it, or in the description box after I try it. But this is the Neutrogena Shine Control Primer, and it has rice protein complex in it, and this is specifically marketed towards oily skin types, so this is the reason I picked it up. It supposedly controls shine all day with or without makeup, extends the wear of makeup, has a matte finish, and won't over dry skin or clog pores. So I will definitely update you all on my thoughts on this primer. It isn't something that I see too many people talking about, but it's a lower price point than some of the high-end brands like Benefit and Becca, and maybe even Soap and Glory. So I would probably think it could work for a lot of people and save them some money as well. So I will definitely keep you updated. All right, beauties, I hope you all enjoyed this video. I hope you all found something helpful here. Maybe there was a product that you didn't know about that you may want to try now if you do suffer from oily skin or large pores with your makeup, or if you just find that nothing else is really helping your makeup stay in place all day long. So let me know down in the comments if you have more recommendations for my skin type as far as primers, or if you have very good recommendations for people who suffer with dry skin, because there may be viewers who can benefit from that as well. All right, I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.